Jesus took Peter and James and John up onto a mountain to pray. It sounds harmless enough. I've been to a good number of prayer gatherings in my life where nothing important happened and no one's clothes glistened. But then again, they went up on top of a mountain, and biblically speaking, important things happen on top of mountains. Moses received the Torah on top of a mountain. Elijah heard the voice of God not in the storm or earthquake or whirlwind, but in the silence on top of a mountain. Jesus' most famous sermon was delivered from a mountain. Up there in the higher altitudes where you gain some perspective on the lives we typically live, up there away from the world's noise, suspended between heaven and earth. Everything changes on top of a mountain. The temperatures change, the flora and fauna change, the air itself changes. Seems like even people change. While Jesus was praying on that mountaintop, his clothes began to gleam and the appearance of his face began to change. And two men were talking with him, the two mountain men I just mentioned. Moses, the great lawgiver and original recipient of the Torah that guided Israel's ethical life, the giver of the constitution of their existence, and Elijah, the greatest prophet in Israel's history, who called both corruption and holiness by name. Peter, James, and John had been napping through it all. They took seriously the word retreat in prayer retreat. And when they woke up and wiped the sleep from their eyes, they didn't know what to do with this scene. This seemed like everything God had ever done throughout human history was present right there on that mountaintop. The people who knew God best, right there. And the disciples didn't know what to do. When suddenly they were enveloped in a cloud, and a voice from heaven said, "This is my beloved Son, the chosen one. Listen to him." It's similar to the baptism story of Jesus, except at the baptism, the voice said, "You are my beloved Son," as if speaking just to Jesus, second person singular. This announcement was for the disciples who were there. Third person singular, "This is my beloved Son." And the voice says, "Listen to him." Not Moses, important though he may be. Not Elijah, important though he may be. Listen to Jesus. Not preachers or politicians or podcasters, beneficial though they may be. Not authors or lecturers or monastics, faithful though they may be. Not the Apostle Paul or Mark Twain or Oprah Winfrey, popular though they may be. This is my beloved Son. Listen to him. It's not that we don't listen to those other voices, of course, but that amidst all the voices, we listen for the voice of God's beloved, which then becomes the measure and correction and affirmation and end of all the other voices. This is my beloved Son. Listen to him. This seems so simple and fundamental that I hate to bring it up. But when I think about why I am a Christian today, it's not because of the ethics of our faith or the institutions that buttress it, for they bear the fingerprints of frail creatures of dust as well. It's not because of the holy text, for all religions have a holy text. It's not because of the grand tradition of our faith, which is equal parts beautiful and disturbing. When I think about why I am a Christian, when all that fog has cleared, it's just Jesus left standing there and the voice saying, "This is my beloved Son. Listen to him." I'm reminded of the Christmas pageant in the small country church where they placed a live baby in the manger for Jesus. And all was going well, no crying he made, until the shepherds began to sing while shepherds watched their flocks by night, and baby Jesus began to cry. No, to wail. And the shepherds watched the heads of the whole congregation, even their own parents and grandparents, turn towards baby Jesus. This was their one moment of glory for which they had prepared for weeks, and Jesus was ruining it. Until one shepherd had enough and yelled, "Hey, Jesus, will you be quiet? We're trying to worship you here." I think there is a great swath of Christianity today for whom the mantra could be, "Jesus, will you be quiet? We're trying to worship you." Might I suggest to you that Christian people are the ones who listen to Jesus? We believe that if one voice throughout all of human history carries the tone of the holy, it's Jesus' voice. We're not just people who read the Bible. We read the Bible like Jesus. We do not lack for people who read the Bible today, but we are woefully low in the number of people who read the Bible like Jesus. We're not just people who love, we're people who love like Jesus. For us, love is not an abstraction. It's not the idea of love we're after, but the wrap the towel around your waist, feed the hungry, visit the sick, house the homeless, active love of Jesus. We aren't just people who do good, but people who do the same sort of good in the same sort of ways as Jesus. The sort of good that turns the status quo upside down, but always in the nonviolent ways of peace, which can get you crucified, but never puts the hammer and nails in your own hands. You see, Jesus is the lens through which we see the world, see our faith, see our neighbor, see the Bible, see ourselves, see God. And it's His voice that directs our paths. So, when we find ourselves in a fog and we can't see the light, we can't see the way forward, we close our eyes and listen, away from the world's noise, above all the chaos of all the voices, and we listen for the voice. "This is my beloved Son. Listen to him."